Alright, this is Tobias here, playing in my second match of the league. It's again late at night because I tend to have time late at night. Though I am kind of tired, and I was tilted earlier today from being too tired and not getting enough sleep, so maybe I should work on that. Just playing this one match here. We won the die roll. Still on hammer, still testing for Syracuse. I am still in the Giver of Runes version. And hey, Giver of Runes. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to attach a hammer, so I don't think this is a good keep in game one. I hit the wrong button, didn't I? Well, that's what I get for being tired. Suppose I need to be willing to forgive myself for that one. Alright, so clearly we're just going to draw Sagardazade, and then everything will be totally fine. They're mulling to 5. My plan B is to win both post-board games. That's plan B. Alright, plan A is fetch for basic planes. Realistically, I'm, I guess, marginally overly concerned about a turn 1 Blood Moon, but I didn't have to fetch. If I drew... In fact, if I draw a Reality Chip, I'll be slightly sad that I didn't, or that I did fetch. Yes, perfect. Here is my my Sagardazade. My Sagardazade Othopter. I will attack with my dinky little creatures. Alright, here's an Ornithopter. Here's a Seachrome Coast. I guess I'll not F6. Normally I just F6 for time concerns. But maybe my opponent will play around Spell Pierce. They're also on a mull to 5, so they might not have the opportunity to do so. Watery Grave, Basic Island. That represents Counterspell. Well, I'm a god, so I'll play a Sagardazade. The problem is they're representing Counterspell, so I think I have to hold these cards in my hand. I will attack. And by I'm a god, I mean I am very lucky, and I will take it. If they just pass turn here doing nothing, what, drown? Is that what that is? Drown my giver? It is a drown, okay. So, yes, I will take every bit of luck that I can, and I will make the best of it. They skip to main 2. That's a good one. Let's play this gentleman. Human soldier. If they have a counterspell, I suspect they will use it. Oh, okay. Tainted Indulgence. So this could be a Reanimator theme, or it could just be blue-black control straight out. Okay, so I'm gonna put the hammer onto the Thopter because the Memlite already has power. I suspect that this creature will die, but I'll get a big hit in. That's what I'm looking for, is big hits. I think I'm going to keep my land in hand, I think. Is there any reason to play it? I can't think of a reason to play it, but if it comes up, then I'll learn. I will F6 here since I've tapped out. If my opponent doesn't find another land, then Esper Sentinel's possibly going to draw me some cards. That's not the best draw. I'm not going to play a land, because if my opponent gives me a card off Esper Sentinel, and it's a land that does something, like a Saga or a Inkmoth, then I'd rather play that. Okay. How dead is the opponent? On a scale from not to yes. Fatal Push, my lethal creature, checks out. Probably paying for that. Oh, they didn't pay for it? And it gave me a sword. Hello. Um, if they have Spell Pierce... If they have Spell Pierce, and I could have played both lands, that's hilarious. Holy shit. Oh, Ice Fire again. Okay. That's so funny. That's so funny. Okay. Absolutely punished for not playing that land. The fact that they have Stubborn Denial in their deck means that they're a Shadow deck? Wow, that's terrifying. Okay, I have been learned. That got me. Okay, definitely did not expect Stubborn Denial. I didn't even expect Spell Pierce. I was just kind of thinking about what my opponent could have for a single blue mana. Well, now I'm terrified that they're going to play Death Shadow. Oh no, it's a Murktide Regent. I am also very unexcited to be playing against this card. And another land. Well, this game was definitely mine to win, even after making that poor keep. Guess I'm gonna build up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I guess I'm one turn behind on natively attaching the hammer. Alright, well, I have been punished in 2 ways for not playing my land, so I've learned 2 things. Okay, then, oh, well, we're getting there. We are getting there. Eventually I'm just going to pay 8 mana and try to attach to my Memnite and see what happens. Okay, I'd like a card. That's not a bad card. It's Stubborn Denial. Yep, there's the Shadow. The fact that they discarded a Shadow almost 100% means that they have another one. It looks like they don't have a third color in their deck. Well, I actually have no idea. If this Polluted Delta fetches a third color, then I'll know if they have a third color. But I'm not 100% sure if they have a third color if they fetch a basic anyway. Because maybe they just need mana this turn, and if they want to fetch an untapped land, they have to fetch basic, since they're at 2 life. Inkmoth not being exactly Blinkmoth Nexus is somewhat coming up here. Okay, yeah, still unclear. If I had to guess, I would guess that there are only 2 colors. This gives me a card, but it also gives them a blocker. Okay, Give Reverence is a good try here. Alright, do I have to block Murktide if they swing it at me? I don't have to. I probably won't. Yeah. Alright, deck. I'm okay on the lands, I promise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. If I had played this land, then I would have been able to attach hammer this turn. So, it's very, very informative that I didn't play this Hallowed Fountain, and it's punishing me twice over. Okay. Alright, opponent. I have 3 lethal creatures at 1 power. You only have 2 blockers. I can pay for the Esper Sentinel, I promise. Shadow? Maybe? Yep, large. Alright, what do we got here? Another land from the opponent. Well, I guess I play the Saga and pass. They have creatures of 3 different colors, so Giver of Runes can't force through an attack quite yet. I could manually attach the hammer to the sentinel. Which I might just do, honestly. I'm not doing anything else this turn. This is hilarious. And I have Giver to protect. They only have blue mana up, so unless they have like a Brazen Borrower in their deck, which it looks like they have Dress Down. Do I care? I don't think I care about this. So they play the Dress Down, it resolves. My Giver of Runes, I get a card, which is neat. My Giver of Runes can't give protection anymore, but that's fine. I was planning on playing defense with that anyway. So yeah, I'll take the card. Hey, cool, mana source. I didn't have enough of those yet. Resolve Equip. It is large. Shadow's still bigger. No attacks from me. Dress Down is out of here. Okay, I can protect Esper Sentinel from one thing. If they have two things, then that's unfortunate. Well, I've definitely drawn a card because they're not paying 11. Is it a mana source? Oh, it sure is. Thanks, deck. You got my back. Discarding a land. Sure. They don't have enough of those yet either. If my opponent swings Shadow at me, what am I going to do? Probably... If they swing Murktide, I take it. I don't have a flyer. If they swing Shadow, I might just chump block. Inquisition. Oh no, my drum. They might just be... I mean, that's... Inquisition's a fine card to cast there. Okay, Stoneforge is a good card. This is a good draw. I can get... another hammer. I could get Kaldra. I could actually play it. I have 8 mana, 9. I can get Kaldra and actually play Kaldra. That's hilarious. They've shown me that they have Stubborn Denial in their deck, so I'm probably not going to hard cast the Kaldra if I choose it. I could get the Reality Chip, and that is a creature spell. Is that better than another hammer? If it's a hammer, then I can put the hammer in Inkmoth Nexus, which forces them to chump with the Murktide. So I feel like I want my sword, but it got stubborn. Man, I feel like it's Kaldra. Because that's just a creature. I can flash it in. It can't be stubborn. It draws me extra cards. I don't think they can kill me in one shot. If it's hammer and they have stubborn, that is a problem. What I could do, interestingly, is get Stoneforge, put a hammer in my hand, animate Nexus, play the hammer. If it resolves, attach it to the Nexus, and I have 4 lethal creatures, and they have 3 blockers. I think I'm going to try that. If it gets stubborn, I just don't attack. I guess they're kind of likely to have stubborn, though. Oh, they conceded. Okay. Apparently they didn't have stubborn. Okay, so that was intriguing. I'm not familiar with his exact version of Shadow, but they have Drown in the lock and Murktide, which means Rest in Peace is good on both ends, clearing my own graveyard for Drown and clearing their graveyard before Murktide. Since they have Murktide, Teferi's on my radar of things that could come in. Spell Pierce, I think, is good on the play. I'm not sure if it's good on the draw. Blacksmith Skill is a card that I think is good against basically every deck. They have Archmage's Charm, which makes Kaldra somewhat of a liability. If that ever gets taken and I don't have a Pure Steel to re-equip, then that's really brutal. I'm going to cut 2 Steel Shaper's Gifts, and I'm still at 62 cards, and this is maybe... Relic's, like, interesting. I don't know if it's good. Relic might be the weakest card left in my sideboard at this point. Grafter's Cage has a purpose. The purpose is Yawgmoth, specifically. It doesn't stop Cascade or Living End, which is very goofy. It doesn't even stop the... doesn't even stop Indomitable Creativity, because those cards say Exile, and then cast from Exile. And Grafter's Cage says can't be cast from Library or deck, so... Unfortunately, this card's purpose is relegated to exactly Yawgmoth, but that matchup is so bad that I wanted it. Relic could come in to keep the graveyard clear, similar to Rest in Peace, but it only does one. It only does a one shot. The best thing that it does is it lets me cantrip off my Urza Saga if there's no good targets. I think what I'm thinking right now is that Ornithopter is not very good, and this is fine here. Maybe I bring... Let's see. So Teferi is good against Murktide Regent, but so is Rest in Peace. Is Teferi any good against... Can we get Stubborn Denial, I guess. I might just leave it like this and have the mana artifacts to try and break serve, but they're so bad to draw in multiples. Maybe I cut, like, a Drum and the last Ornithopter for 2 Spell Pierces. That doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world to me. And then maybe on the play... honestly, surprised that I walked with that one after accidentally keeping that hand that I didn't like. This hand, however, I also don't like. Opponent mulls 2/6. What am I doing with this hand? I guess I'm holding up Spell Pierce on one, and they're probably not playing any spells. And then I'm playing Saga Reality Chip on 2. Just throwing it out there, and then making some Saga tokens. Maybe I even play the Shadow Spear on turn 1, so that it doesn't get Thoughtseize out of my hand or Stubborn Denial. I'm not sure. This hand plays, for sure. It's not like the worst thing ever. I haven't seen any discard spells from them. But in the event that they have discard spells, I would rather just keep a hand that functions. Because normally with Hammer, a hand that has both a hammer and a way to attach it, and a creature to attach it to, like, if you have those things, then that's better than like, if you have all those things, I guess, that's better than having more cards, but not all 3 of those things. Now, my opponent is representing Stubborn, I suppose. Am I gonna want to Spell Pierce anything on turn 2? They slapped down on Injured Explosives. On the 0. Does that tell me that their hand is weak or strong? Might mean that they hate Urza Saga, which is unfortunate because that was kind of my entire game plan. I think that I will fetch a Shockland, play the Drum, and pass. I don't think I'm going to want to Spell Pierce anything on turn 2. Or on their turn 2. I'm sad that I drew both of the mana artifacts that I left in. Really only wanted one. be unsurprised if they pass their turn. Oh, there are discard spell deck. Okay. I guess there was something I wanted to spell pierce. Likely they take Reality Chip because it's my only creature. Unless they want to take Shadow Spear because it's just possibly the best card in a long game. But I'd be surprised if they didn't take one of those two cards. Yeah, I am unsurprised. Deck's coming through with the lands again. Now they know about Spell Pierce, which makes it a lot worse. I'm probably still going to keep it on the play because even if they know about it, it's much more difficult to play around. I'm going to deploy the Shadow Spear now. Mostly because I have the 1 mana to pay for Stubborn. Alright. They are shocking, fetching, not shocking. Okay. They're playing slow. That's fine. Okay. Sure. Ooh, that's a good draw. So the Reality Chip's already out of the deck, which means I think thinning is... it doesn't really matter that much. But I'd rather not draw as many lands as I did in game 1. I don't think that made it easier on me. Okay, if they play... what would they play that would interfere with my lands? Break the Ice? Doubt that's in their deck. So this Urza Saga is probably surviving. Likely what I'll end up doing is making 1 token, and then not the second one, because that puts pressure on their explosives without time walking myself. They chose not to fetch, which either means they haven't decided if they want to hurt themselves yet. No, don't do that. Come on, be cool. Okay, so what if I activate Saga and then try and Spell Pierce this? And if they pay for it, then I do get a second Saga activation, and I can get a big hit on them. But the big hit's not even convinced that it's that great. So this is a situation where Spell Pierce, them knowing about it and me being on the draw, is making it underwhelming. So I don't know if it would have been better as an Ornithopter, but it's still underwhelming. I think I'm gonna go for that tempo play, like I said, where I make a token and then Spell Pierce, and then they have to choose between holding up explosives and paying for Spell Pierce. I mean, unless they have another land, in which case... another land and Stubborn Denial, in which case I guess they got me? I'm not even sure if they're getting me with that. I didn't really plan for explosives, but if I had, I could have put Pithing Needle into my deck. Well, alright. If they have another Thoughtseize, then I guess this play is interesting. Okay, they were scared by my construct, so... Ooh, another Saga. That's interesting. So, what can I do here? I'm probably not going to make another construct, like I said. I think we're just going to float and get a 1-drop, because if I get a 0, it'll blow up. Which I guess means it's a hammer, based on the fact that I have drawn the other 2 that I left in. This would be so nice if I had brought in the Pithing Needle, but I wasn't planning on playing around explosives, so I did not bring in the Pithing Needle. Hammer it is. Okay, so... this isn't that great for me, but they do only have 3 cards in hand, so I think I put them... Gotta play Saga. Just to put it out there. I think I'm going to make them interact. If they have Counterspell, then that means I get to attack. If they don't have Counterspell, then... Oh, they probably have Drown. They showed me Drown. So, they might not have literal Counterspell in their deck. An untapped land basic means they're casting something. Oh, they're not casting anything. Interesting. Oh, Dress Down. Okay, sure. Dress Down is a card that's really good against my board right now. And it holds up the explosives for other constructs. Yeah, that's really good. But not for me. So, I will equip here, because I can. I'm not going to play this, because if this survives in some crazy universe, then the Paradise Mantle will draw a card. Okay, that was a really good Dress Down. Did not expect. We're not in a crazy universe where that card survived. Man, my opponent just like... A Street Wraith? Okay. My opponent was just on the level where they were like... Explosives on 0 on turn 1. It is getting me. Well, I'm getting punished for this Paradise Mantle. I would suspect that they... I might literally suspect that they were stream sniping if I weren't just randomly recording this. Okay. Thanks, deck. You're insane. Alright. Well. I can make a thing and play the Pure Steel, so I'm gonna. The explosives can nuke my token, which I think means I have to put these on the Pure Steel, which is unpleasant to say the least. Because the Pure Steel is the more valuable one. It's the one that I don't want to load up on. But they already have the answer showing to the tokens, so I don't really feel like I have a choice. Like if I put these on the token and then try to attack with it, then they're just going to blow up the explosives anyway. Okay, they're down to 1 card in hand, 2 next turn. We'll see if either of those can answer a Pure Steel Paladin. I would not be surprised if my opponent... yeah. See, this is the problem. And they still have the ability to hold up Explosives activation for my Construct token. Yeah, I might be in checkmate. Unless I find, like, the 3rd Pure Steel Paladin off the top. Nope. Man, I really wish I had something else to do. Gotta bluff something else to do. See if I can get them to hold for 1 turn. Nope. Okay, what I was saying about this Chalice was I would not be surprised if my opponent cuts the Chalice on the draw, because I'll have a turn to deploy all my zeros, and they play a lot of 1s. Oh well, do they? Wow, that's a good draw. They play some 1s. They play Fatal Push and Thoughtseize. And I know they play Shadow, so they don't really want to put it on 1. So they're planning on putting it on 0. They discarded Inquisition, that makes sense, because my card's not very good. Is there anything that I can draw that keeps me in the game? This does technically keep me in the game. I don't think I can win, though. Because I have to chump block. And I don't have any way to give haste. Yeah, I'm in checkmate. Okay. Man, my opponent's draw was quite good. mean, my draw was also quite good, but my opponent's draw was very good. Man, if I'd had Pithing Needle in the deck, I would have won that game. Sad. Do I want to bring it in? I didn't have it last time, so they might not expect it. But the problem with this card is that it's really only good against explosives. And explosives is like one card. So we could get into a situation where I draw it and they don't have explosives, or they have explosives and I don't draw it. The only situation where it's good is if we both draw the thing. Like if I draw my thing and they draw their thing. Like, having this in my deck as a Saga tutor target for when I need to ensure myself against explosives is nice. Also, it turns out they don't have any, like, they do have blue creatures in the form of Murktide, where Sword's kind of neat, but they don't have any blue or red removal, it seems. So we're going to get that out of here. We are going to put something else in. I don't think it's going to be Pithing Needle. I think I've talked myself out of it. So that means it's going to be either Relic or Kaldra. Kaldra on the play is a lot better than on the draw, because I have a greater chance of having Blacksmith skill open to, or like Spell Pierce, or a Giver of Runes that I can put down to protect the Kaldra. To have like 1 mana left over and protect the Kaldra on the play. I would like to be on the play. Ooh, this is a pretty good looking hand. Got turn 1 Esper Sentinel on the play. I got a turn 2. I don't even know if I'm playing Rest in Peace on turn 2. I might. I'd really like to find another white source so that on turn 2 I could play like Esper Sentinel number 2 and Giver. But if I don't, then I have to decide what to do on turn 2, whether it's Rest in Peace or another Esper Sentinel, or if it's Giver. It's definitely Esper Sentinel on turn 1. I do need to find a 3rd mana source to start making construct tokens. If I never find a 3rd mana source before the Saga actually pops, it'll have to get the Springleaf Drum. I do never go below 1 Springleaf Drum for this exact reason. Okay. Here is my card. You can discard Spell Me now if you want. I'll take the 2 for 1 in my favor. Opponent did have to mulligan. They didn't have to mulligan, but opponent did choose to mulligan. Ooh, I got it, my wish. Opponent did choose to mulligan in each game. So I think... Okay, the line that I said from before is probably the one I'm going to take. This does get marginally punished by an explosives on 1. But at least get to draw 1 card out of it. And if they do that, then I can play the Saga freely. And that only gets punished by Dress Down. Okay. This will probably prompt action, because they don't want to give me 2 cards when they cast a 1 mana removal spell. This looks like a Fatal Push on my first one. What's a Dismember? Yeah, it's a Dismember. Okay, if I draw Spell Pierce right now, then, or Blacksmith skill, then I will be a very happy person. Come on, deck. You are insane, deck. Hopefully we just put our opponent on the taxation plan. This looks like a shadow. That doesn't get taxed. Oh, damn it. That's Well, sometimes my deck just wants to do what it wants to do. That is, again, the best draw. I will draw a card. What would be the best draw at this point? A 0-mana card would be the best draw. Yes, I would like to draw. That is that I am technically not wrong. That is a 0-mana card. All right, opponent must block. I will attack you for lethal. Okay, got the shadow. Now, I don't think I'm going to re-equip the hammer, because if I do, my creature with 4 damage on it here will die. So, if the shadow wants to attack me, I think I'm just taking it. So, go nuts, opponent. Two mana. Blue-black casts Drown. Inquisition. I found a 0-mana card. With the cards in my hand, I probably take... Oh, okay. Well, sure. They know about another saga, but I might rather play the Inkmoth Nexus and threaten lethal that way next turn. I don't want to swing everything. Like, this is on board, this is free damage, these two creatures without the hammer on them. But if they have Fatal Push, then it's not free damage anymore. So I'm gonna go to combat and swing just this one and see if they have Fatal Push or if they have to block. Okay, them having to block is good for me. I will do this. And let's see. I think I actually am going to cast this because it turns off Drown, and I think I'm going to cast this. Sure. And I'm not moving the hammer for the same reason I didn't move it last time. I'm just going to have 6. They know I have 2 sagas. Tainted Indulgence. Man, the doubles Esperson on the play is brutal. They did have a Drown. They have 3 cards in hand. Is this a shadow? It's a Fatal Push, okay. They've cast other spells. And then conceding. Okay. So, definitely didn't expect to win the first one, but the deck kind of came through for me when I accidentally clicked the wrong button. And then in the second game here, the 2 Esper Sentinels put my opponent into a bind where they had to cast their spells, and it just gave me so many cards that I drew in, I think, the actual optimal order. That, I mean, my opponent didn't make any mistakes or anything. They played the cards that they were dealt, and I played the cards that I was dealt. Mine just lined up really well, and I don't think that my opponent made any mistakes. I think they played quite well. It just seems like I got the better end of variance, and I think their deck was really cool. I think Tainted Indulgence is really sweet, and I think that Death Shadow is a really cool card. I played that deck for like a year, and that Drown in the Lock is a sweet card. Counterspell or kill target creature is a sweet effect. This is a deck I am scared to play against a lot of the time, but when the cards line up right, Hammer can win in extraordinary fashion sometimes. So I will pocket the win and get ready for another round, maybe tomorrow after work. I will see everyone then.